To be fair. Good evening, everyone. Not as evening as last night where we had After Hours Death or Glory. I am the oldest man of 40K, Mr. Brad Chester. I have to the right of me, left of me, I don't know, something. You're the left and the right. Stage left, Mr. Stephen Crowley. We have Mr. Brenton Weiss, and we have the judge guy, the thing and the stuff, Mr. Brian Horton. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Exactly, that's what I needed.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Brenton's like, I refuse to say hi to anyone. Screw you guys. I'm out.
I was waiting for somebody else to tell me other than Brad, but hi everyone. I'm Brad's adult.
Brenton's just salty because he was not at Lone Star Open this weekend to go and win the event.
Oh, I would have crushed it.
Hey, we had 3 different undefeateds on that tournament. Mr. Ben Urich took it.
Yeah.
And with the pointy ears, we had Tao sneaking up into the top and GSC. GSC did well over the weekend.
Well,
They have half as many players as Eldar, but took home 11 versus Eldar's 18, so they were
No,
disproportionate.
I'm saying that's Eldar. That's unnerved Eldar. With it, that counts the whole season. So the weekend.
No, it doesn't count the whole season.
It does too.
They've had more than 18 wins this season. They had 6 last week, period.
I'm telling you, since we've only had 10th edition for a month.
Oh, okay, hold on. No, I'm going to figure this out because you're full of shit.
How many tournaments do you think are a weekend, man?
A billion.
There is not a billion. There's GTs are the only things
Then
we
how
count.
do you... They had 17 last week. Oh, it is. You're right. I'm sorry.
I know I'm right. Clip that again.
No, don't
to,
clip it.
to be fair,
To be fair.
Brad was correct.
To be fair. Well, then that doesn't make me feel bad. GSC has only went up from 7 to 11, so they only won 4 events this weekend, so they're not doing that good.
Yeah, just
Scrubs.
scrubbing it up. 67% win rate. Probably should be buffed up.
Do I need to remind you, sir, that your faction is still oppressively high and winning everything, even after the nerfs?
Yeah. I know. And I'm real happy about it. I love my pointy elves. I wish I had a reason to run Eldrad, but besides that, they're pretty good.
Man,
Also, wasn't it a different GSC list that did well at Lone Star as well? It was not.
Oh, dude, all of the weird lists from Lone Star for GSC were weird as hell.
Yeah. Well, Box dropped after 2. He went 0-2 and then took off. I think, to be fair, I don't even think it was the losses for that. I think he was just really busy. He ran a full deal over the weekend too.
I was told that he was not aware that GSC were not able to respond with demolition charges.
We thought that when we saw his list. You know what I mean? Because that was a list that looked like he was really heavily leaning on the demo charges being able to come back. And
I don't judge him.
No, if that was the case, though, that list was a billion times better because he would have just been dropping demos all game long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is that how they're ruling it in the UK currently?
I tell you the truth, I don't know yet on that because they have had, I think it's just Zach so far makes all the rules of those, you know what I mean? So we have to find out, but those are specific. GW, that will be the ruling though, because it specifically that's one of those rules that's easy to get, you know what I mean? Because it says that if you are a new unit, you get your one-time things, and if you are a respawn unit, you do not get those things.
Correct.
So the gentleman who actually did really well with GSC is the one that was on stream for round 5, and he's running a pretty traditional list. He's got 1 10-man brick with demo charges of Acolyte hybrids, but he was running 5 squads of hybrids with the proper settings that you would want to have. He had a unit of aberrants that were bosses. He did 3 Ridge Runners instead of 2, which I think is a good call, especially for his list when he's going with the 10-man hybrids. But he was only running a single Saboteur
He's so good. I love him.
Right. I don't know how you leave at 55 points. How do you leave home without 3? Like
You have to
that's-
take 3. They're just too good to not run.
He's the
Just
king of
for-
mortals. They're in those higher other mortal guys. They
I
call
have-
him
I have
sire.
3 in my list. I mean, that's
they're
telling
at
us
the top 90th percentile for I do metrics in Excel, and I have a thing called damage per point that I do. They're in the top 90th percentile in the game of damage per point because of the explosives that they can do, which with their out of line of sight shooting, and with the they get to use the grenade strat for free, and that's on a per turn basis. That it does ignores their once per game and their once per game mortals. They're 2 once per game abilities. They're just for 55 points. They're a steal. They do an average of like 3 mortals and 2 or 3 damage on Marine equivalent, which is just fantastic.
Let's talk about the bottom.
Let's talk about the bottom.
Dude, Drakari and Death Guard. I'm right now. Hey Anna, your Votan's sitting at 38%. Just crushing people. Because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different factions that are all winning below 38%. We have to address the bottom, everyone. I know we've said this a billion times, but you know.
Do you honestly believe? I mean this with my heart of hearts, but do you honestly believe that GW is actually going to address the bottom and they're not just going to cut the top 20?
No, because they already proved that they can fix this. They did this with the Marines when Marines were super bad losing, and they gave them a bunch of free war gear and stuff. We have prop people up. Now, they haven't historically done this very well for a long time, but they have at least had blips where they fix this. So I think you can't just have, 60% of the game just getting rocked. Oh, Lyle coming at the super chat. How much are 12 crisis suits with full rerolls per point? Asking for a friend.
Oh.
I mean, I've played it. It's good.
Yeah, we put it on the board
He's-
yesterday. We were over playtesting at Snakes.
Lyle, that's dirty, and I agreed that I'm not talking about that.
I know a team
Anyway.
that's breaking that. It's called the Moo Crew. Hey, you guys want to talk about how I lost my mind and decided to take orcs to ATC?
Shh.
Yeah, let's do
We got to
it.
keep our competitive secrets,
Man,
man.
we don't need no competitive secrets.
Come on, you
He's just gonna wah.
Log, Mr. Bond.
The only thing is
Embarrassing.
he's tall as his models, so he's
Log,
gonna run
Mr.
across
Bond.
the table with his models.
Oh, this shit's happening. I'm just saying. It's going
Dude.
down.
Before we do that, while we're still talking about LSO, do you want to talk about Chaos Space Marines and how fantastically they did?
They did really, really well.
Yeah,
Like-
Space Marine puts out some real damage. I think that the only problem with Chaos Space Marines is it has cardio issues. It can hit super, super hard. My boy James Carmona is going to, I think he's bringing that to ATC. The army hits super, super hard. It's just like you can only do it limited times because you have a very limited unit selection as far as the number of units you have on the board. So if anything goes wrong, shit can go real wrong. I think that's one of those armies that can punch really hard, but they have a real hard time making it through all 5 rounds.
Well, I think the Obliterators, the gentleman that was running 3 units of Obliterators, they do a lot of work. They punch up. Terminators actually do really well when they have Abaddon because they have access to all the marks. So that's pretty fantastic. And then I was absolutely surprised by the Forge Fiends. Like the Forge Fiends, especially when you spend the 1 CP
Yep.
to give it 4 rolls to hit and wound,
And the mortals,
And-
dude. Whew.
and it does devastating wounds. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's nasty. Oh, I have to go down here to Carl. Until they replace my noodle arms Drakari, we had trouble. I'd use my army for paperweights, but they lose to paper too.
it's okay. You could be certain Marine players that we all know and lost half of your army this morning.
So here's the thing. With Marines having what we've called plethora of data sheets that they have, is it that big of a deal that they're getting some stuff legend when there's, in all honesty, a lot of replacements for all those things already in existence?
Yeah, but like,
Yes
I think-
and no.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence there because, we get rid of Leviathan right now, so that kind of makes sense because it's more of a Horus Heresy thing lore-wise. But, I mean, if we're saying the first gen is, like, Marines are getting ready to be wiped out of lore, as in,
No,
like,
no, no,
killed
no, no,
off,
no, no,
then
no.
maybe.
You missed the retcon. Primaris Marines no longer are Primaris Marines. There's no such thing as delineation now on the tabletop between Primaris and Firstborn. That was one of the biggest things that happened at the beginning of 9th, and we're now seeing correlation between the vehicles because there's no Primaris Assault Intercessors.
Oh, that's true.
Stuff
That's
like
true.
that, right? And there's no
I'm not-
delineation for Gene Rod Alchemy.
Like, man, I'm not a Space Marine player. The only good Space Marines are dead Space Marines. So.
Freaking filthy knife ears. I'm surrounded by knife ears players.
What? Nothing wrong with that,
Brad's
baby.
just- Yeah, but say Brad's over here doing the same thing as me, and Brian's like just assimilate to the Four-Armed Emperor already.
Yes.
I am the four-armed emperor. What are you talking about?
I love it.
As
Everything.
I've been sitting here all day putting together 6 boxes of Leviathan mids. So,
Bro, I am
Yeah.
so excited for the Tyranid Codex. I am so excited.
no, I'm just looking forward to playing with some new models. I don't care how competitive they are. I want them to be competitive, don't get me wrong. But I want big, giant monsters to run across the board in a crush and be happy about it.
Norn Emissaries. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bro, I want to
They look amazing.
I want to paint the things red. So like there's all the animes where the characters like grow red horns with all the sparkly bits and stuff. And
Yeah.
mine are all painted like deep sea. I'm going to do mine with bright red for the things where they look like they're glowing.
What all are we actually losing?
Oh gosh, hold on.
Like, I know we're
just-
losing a decent amount, but I don't know
Scout
what is
Marines,
the actual.
Scouts, snipers, land speeders, Storm,
I got the,
Ironclad Dreadnought, which is just getting replaced by something called Dreadnought, which I assume might roll in all the Dreadnoughts. Trying to remember what else there was.
I got it.
Are
now.
Devastators going away?
Land Speeder Storm,
No.
Land Speeder, Scout Bike Squad, Attack, just every bike?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Brandon.
Stalker Ironclads. Assault squads is a big deal, but I think that we're gonna see very soon either a jump pack kit for the assault intercessors or the intercessors get a jump pack.
That's been rumored for quite a little while now that those are done and ready to go.
Well, I mean, like some of the things are pretty obvious too. Like the Tech Marine with servitors, the index came out and it only had the Primaris Tech Marine like the equivalent with that wounds and stuff.
Yep.
So we could see that was going to happen.
I'm surprised at the Hunter and Stalker because that was newer into the range for Space Marines.
I
Yeah,
think
that
they
was-
just want to get rid of because that's an upgrade sprue that comes in the box, right? I think the goal is eventually to get rid of the rest of the Firstborn line, including rhinos. They're going to make a new rhino equivalent, and they'll make a Primaris size one. They want to rescale the entire line, but this was a massive axing towards that, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yeah, exactly. Sniper Scouts are literally, okay, I go Sniper Scouts. There goes Brad's plan. They are the first thing I put in all Marine lists.
listen. If you ever see GW rapidly make something that's super old really good, if you didn't learn from Chaplain Dreadnoughts, I can't help you.
Does this look like the face of somebody that learns from his mistakes?
But they were very, in their little article here, they also were very specific that you could run your bike squad as Outriders. So
Yes.
I gotta assume
With the
they're gonna
right
say,
base
oh well, you
size.
could use your land speeders as Tempest or whatever the heck the names of the other ones are. The new Primaris.
Oof.
Yes.
Let's,
and how many
let's
calls
pretend they
of
are the same
modeling for
size.
advantage are we gonna hear?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the real questions, though?
Sure.
If the DOG crew were in anime, which characters would they be? That's what I need to ask.
Can I just be Snorlax because that's I know it's not anime. Technically. I'm all for it.
I mean, I need to know these answers now. I need to know. Inquiring minds need to know.
Right, you can't vote for yourself though, so you have to assign it for other people.
I'll assign you Snorlax, Brian. I'm here
There
for you.
There you go.
Thank you, my friend.
I honestly think I can't think of an anime character. I think Brenton is like Doctor Strange, trying to evaluate every freaking possible permutation of every single decision that he
Going
makes in the
Raoul.
game.
You are not wrong. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel characters too, so let's go.
Straight out just being Raoul from Fist of the North Star. So
Or Lelouch from Code Geass.
he goes, I love that immediately. Why is Brad Master Roshi?
Why is Master
Why is
Roshi?
Brad
That is
Master
100% true.
So
Oh,
funny 'cause that's what we nicknamed you.
I do like Harlock the Space Pirate. Pick a monologuing main character and it's Brad. You're not wrong.
All Gundam pilots. What Gundam pilot would Brad be?
So do we want to jump into we want to continue with the recap, or do we want to talk about that fun, exciting, love, happiness space that is ATC right now?
So-
American Team Championships happening this week.
I'm all about talking about teams because right now, in particular, I am finding teams to be much more interesting than singles.
Because I
think
find
it's
it
just
to be
another
interesting in the
dynamic.
right way. If we're talking about ATC.
All right, so let's skip over ATC and we'll just go right to WTC.
That sounds good.
Nope. I am talking about it because
Dude,
we
ATC
are going to be
is-
using a rules FAQ that comes out on Wednesday. I am literally going to ATC on Wednesday. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use like a 3D printer in the back of Lyle's car and make new things that I might need. Like, what?
Make sure that
I'm
it's
not
crime because
there
3D printed
anymore.
models are not allowed at ATC.
I mean, Brad, what you do is you pack up every Eldar model you own.
I'm not
He's
even
not
playing
playing
Eldar.
Eldar.
I'm
You got
playing the
kicked off of
orcs.
Eldar.
Yes, I literally got evicted. Brendan came in and was like, "Yo, looks like you should get some other models, chump."
So what are you going to be running, Brad?
Orcs. I'm legit. I wasn't making a joke. I really am going to play orcs.
Oh God,
He's being handed pirates and saying, "Go do the things."
Brad,
Yeah.
why is it that you and me are the ones that get picked on? Like everybody else mostly got to stay stable with their armies. Me and you got evicted from our armies like 3 or 4 times.
Crawley, are you on GSC now?
I am. I had Tom called me and he was like, "Look, the only chance the team has is if you play GSC. Otherwise, the team is doomed. Are you going to let the team down?" And I was like, "Damn it!" And I had to go do a Rocky montage.
I didn't get the phone call for the army, so I was expecting the phone call.
No.
Thursday,
I just sourced it.
Thursday
Okay.
night, Friday morning, we just went, we should play some different stuff. And and then I started testing a bunch of things and we went, let's play orcs. And then I uploaded an orc list after I drank a bunch of wine. And I was like, that is the wrong orc list. And I uploaded another list. And that was also the wrong list. And if they're going to change the rules up until the day of the event, I might just bring whatever the hell I want. I think we might play 5 Eldar. Actually, we're going to win this event because we're going to play 6 people. And that's when we're going to get them with our 6th player.
Yeah, I completely agree with Anna. I'm sorry, not Anna. My
Oh,
bad.
I missed
Riztek.
I missed a super check. Lau comes in, he goes, there are 4 to 6 DOG teams going. Hot take predictions on team rankings. Well, I mean, you have 3 of the people that are on one of the teams in this chat, so we're probably going to be a little biased
so-
on this one.
So what DOG teams do we have outside of the one that I know
We have-
right here?
Mutang Clan. Oh, do you want actually people that are on the team?
You show
I don't
your
know
face.
this stuff. Do we have a rank? Do we have a roster?
Yeah.
No,
Let me see if I got one.
I got it right
names
here.
The teams
Well,
and who their captain.
well,
is. At least
one,
that way I
if we're just
can get-
going on winning the team, I already know who's winning this because the Mutang clan is definitely winning the best of the team names.
DOG names.
Yes. That's not even close, guys. So we'll start with the Moo crew. Brandon, Corey, John, Lyle, and Mike. In order playing Tau, Eldar, Necrons, Knights, and GSC. That's a strong team.
Sorry.
So then we've got what I like to call Brenton's crew. We got the Diet Coke of Brenton. We've got Cornell, Jeremy, Stan. I'm assuming he's playing Custodes. Matt, James, Pedro, Rick. So we've got Orcs, GSC. What's Matt playing?
Matt James. what are you
Matt's playing Space Marines, Ultramarines, I believe.
Yeah. What's Cordell playing?
Tau.
Now,
And then we've got the Death or Glory. Mutang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Justin Cook, Kyle, Leah, Mike, Ryan, Chaos Knights, Marines, I'll say Chaos Knights, Marines, Thousand Suns, demons, and what the hell's Cook Plan? I'm not sure.
Oh, Custodes.
Yeah, Custodes, got it. So, and then that guy that lost his mind and brought orcs. Who the hell's that?
Yeah, what a
What a
kind of a crazy
moron.
person walks in.
What a
there.
crazy guy.
What team's your boy on, Crowley?
Who's my boy?
Your son, Roland.
Oh, my son, my child.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you know, your one child.
No, I thought you were going with the. You're my boy.
He's
Blue.
like, I just pick him up and bring him to events. I just leave him in the closet.
Yeah, no, I
when he's
just
not
drop
around.
him off. Like I'm like fend for yourself for this weekend of Gilead. He is on Team ETA.
Team ETA, okay. Are they basically a DOG team, or is he just helping them out?
No, he's just helping them out. He wanted to go. He had the plan of because last year he saw that there was an orc player that played on a lesser competitive team, so he wanted to try playing for funsies this year, so he can get the best overall by.
Boo! You know how I feel about that. We're about to have a talking to Gilead. Oh, no. Boo! No individual awards at team events.
No,
Okay.
I'm giving him crap. He's playing with a bunch of the guys that are on Team Baywatch, and then a couple of the other guys. But they're actual like they would go to ATC every year. They've been doing this for like 10 years, and he got the opportunity to play with them, and they're good peeps.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's take a minute to actually talk about the Chatta Chance, because we got Nathan Clark's on it. He's DOG.
Yep.
So he's got. Well, first off, he's taking Space Marines. So, all right, we know who they're putting down first. Do we know anybody else on his team? Because I don't know.
I know everybody on that team because they are the people that I go to play RTTs with all the time.
Okay, all right.
That's actually a secret like shark team, because Mr. Colin will be playing Artie Guard, and he's a long-time Imperial Guard player that actually gives me a run for my money whenever I go to RTTs, back when Guard were bad. So I don't even want to know what he can do with them when they're good.
All right. So definitely, let's look out for them. I'm excited to see what they do. And then we also have Blood, Sweat, and Beers. This is a mixed bag of a bunch of Death or Glory guys out on the northeast side of the states with some Team Battle Brothers sprinkled in.
Nice.
So
What is happening here?
yeah, there's DOG everywhere.
Yes, there is.
We are a spreading plague.
We're like, we're a virus.
Okay.
Virus.
I thought you were going in a much worse direction.
I'm about to say.
I was.
I was over here just like trying to Doctor Strange be like, censor Brad.
So since Brad wants to talk about his list, go ahead, Brad. Give out the orc secret sauce. Talk about your list. And
Well,
why
I'm
you're
going to
excited
change
to
it
play.
6 more times this week. I might be playing.
Stop bragging about breaking the rule. Oh my God, I'm going to go to the captain's meeting and they're going to be like, Mr. Crawley, why is Brad such a fuck?
Also, why does he keep resubmitting the same
Don't come
list?
after me, Steven.
Has
Steven,
Brad?
I'm listed as captain of the team. They're coming after me. I think you're safe.
No, I will still be held responsible. I've been talking with Shane this week.
Alright, I
Has
use
Brad-
his shield.
Has
Gotcha.
Brad literally?
Just take all over my computer.
Has Brad literally submitted the exact same list 23 times?
Oh, good Lord.
All right. So what is that list, Brad?
I am
what's run?
playing Mazrog, the big giant white motherfucker.
Hold on. Wait. Whoa.
What?
But he doesn't have lone operative. You went on a
Thank you, Brian.
diatribe
Yeah.
about how terrible he was because he doesn't have lone
No,
operative.
I'm still mad that he doesn't have lone operative, but he can soccer toss anything he touches. And
Okay.
he's riding a giant white dinosaur again. So I have to bring him. It's required by orc law that I take Mazrog. Same reason I snakebited it up for that tournament. I just wanted Maz in my list. Then I've got another beast boss. Uh-oh, we got a $5 super chat for the Troop Squirrel. Brad, tell Steven I'm coming for him at ATC. Well, mostly to buy him a drink. But either way.
Sir, I accept challenges. You can come to the table and hit me with the white glove anytime that you want, and I will play you.
But you ready for more orcs? I'm ready. I have another dinosaur rider. I got a beast boss. I've got a mech to make things go +1 so they can big boom faster. Captain Badrock, because he's a freaking pirate. You're going in my list if you got a pirate hat. And then probably somebody else, but who cares? I got 2 units of beast snagger boys, 3 trucks, and a unit of flash kits, which hangs out with Captain Badrock, and they pop out, the mech and juice up the truck if it's sitting there, and they go boom, boom. I got 2 units of Storm Boys, 1 unit of bikes. I've got 3 units of Squig Riders, baby. 633, bringing the pain. And I got a shock jump dragster. Screw you, Sean. I still like it.
Michael Irvin with the $5, well, the $4.99 super chat says, Brad, you legit said you'd never run him till he had lone operative. You have to remove him from the list.
I think you guys have heard one of my catchphrases. I was wrong, and I'll be wrong again. Okay.
Also,
when do you say that? I always hear "not in the face."
Oh, wait, I said one of my catchphrases. If you're old enough, you get more than one.
Yes, we do.
Dean Pritchard, I agree with you, sir. They are going to ban Custodes, Eldar Knights, and GSC on Wednesday night.
Nope.
And everybody's going to have to figure
afternoon.
out. Thursday afternoon.
Or Friday morning.
Literally, Brad's gonna call me on the phone. He's like, "You haven't left yet, right?" And I'm like, "No." And he's gonna be like, "I need 5 armies, stat, whatever you got, just bring the shelves."
See Crawley pull up in a U-Haul. All right, I throw the shelves in the back of the truck.
I'm gonna be so angry when I play 6 games and Mazrod gets first turn wrecked every single game.
Bro, any game that he gets first turn wrecked, you're winning because the amount of freaking shots that it takes to kill somebody is freaking tough 9 or 10 with -1 to win.
You know how many fire prisons it takes to kill him? 2 shots, fail both saves, and feel no pains.
Well, I'm sorry, you're right. If you fail freaking 2-4 feel no, that doesn't kill him because
he's got 9 wounds. It does 12. 2 fire prisons go through. If you fail both the 4-ups, 12
you're
damage.
Right.
And then I gotta fail a little bit more than 50-50 on my feel no pains.
Yep. You're right. If you rolled complete garbage and they managed to hit 2-4, well, they get 4 rolls. Never mind. Eldar is bullshit. We need to nerf Eldar.
If we put Brad into Eldar, something wrong has happened in our pairings.
I mean, true.
Stop talking about pairings.
Nope. We're going to do all of that right now. I'm going to
tell the Eldar wants to fight
Why
Brad.
don't we just go ahead and do mock pairings against all the competitive teams on stream right now so they know exactly what we're thinking?
No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to write them down and then send them to them. Intimidation factor.
Brad sends them each a list. We're coming for you.
Just remember, boys, Chaos Knights were banned, and as long as you have an Imperial Knight player, because Chaos Knights are so strong.
Exactly.
That 34% win rate, man, it scared the shit out of them who were on AD.
D goes Shadow Sword him to death. Ouch.
It is 34% for this season, the competitive season.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if I actually had the models for a list that Crawley gave me for Chaos Knights, I almost 100% would be running it because it was fun. It is sneaky good. Nobody expects it.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Right, so what's that list? Let's talk about something different. What's that list, Crawley?
Okay, you got to take 2 despoilers with double Avenger Gatling cannons so that you can go get to the chopper for your carnivores, and then you get 6 carnivores. And they play Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin, and they run at people and hide in corners because they can do that. Yep. Okay? And you run straight at people, 14 inches plus the advance, and you say, choke on this. And meanwhile, like, 36 shots from a despoiler with the rockets can take out some things, right? It does a lot of work, right? And so then you give them this entire threat saturation. You got this lowly stalker who walks around and he's like, this objective's sticky. This objective's sticky. This objective's sticky. And then on turn 2, you're like, cool, these 2 over here, they're going to Kool-Aid Man through that wall. And what did you kill? Because usually, even an Eldar list, it takes everything to kill the 2 despoilers, which they have to kill the despoilers or you're just going to wreck their face, right? But
it's actually a little bit different than the list that we came up with at Salt City.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The 2 Rampager list.
Oh, yeah. No. See, that's the thing. The Rampager list, it sends a message, and it says, I'm coming straight at you and you got no other choice, right? The despoiler list says, get to the chopper, and gives you a range threat you have to deal with while so just imagine the carnivores are just dead sprinting across the field with just this hail of Avenger Gatling fire just over their heads, just straight into the entire mass of the enemy army. And you get to throw so many dice. Nope, everybody feels good when you get to throw 36 dice.
100%. That's my favorite thing I want to do.
I don't know. I tried this into. Well, he ended up playing actual other Chaos Knights too, and like I just stormed him turn 1, and it was so bad. I was like, hey, I'm killing things.
God, you know what? We should play the ones that people are actually talking about. Double Hierophant, double Tawanar. Just make it
I
happen.
can run anything troll that you want. I've got double Harridan. You want me to switch to Nids? Apparently we can switch to Nids. I'll run double Harridan this weekend.
As long as you have 30 barbed gaunts in the list, I am all for it.
Hey, remember, the Harridan, to be able to count if it's in the terrain or not, is based on that tiny little base. So I'm fully obscured as long as I'm the back of that base is on the other side of the ruin. We're good.
Oh no.
Now they can charge me to the front of the model's face, but nobody wants to fight in this edition, so that's fine. But the base is where we measure by within and stuff like that. And they have hover. Can I see your Harridan to shoot it? I mean, yes, but actually no.
Yes, but actually no. Do I have that? Damn it. I don't have that really quick. I gotta find that.
Why do you not have that ready?
I'm not even mad with myself. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed.
So what did everybody do this weekend? So Brad, you play tested.
I just play tested all weekend basically. I died on Saturday and I play tested the rest of the time. And I had a lot of fun playing the games with those armies. To be honest, I still think 10th edition, I'm still very positive about. I haven't been always, but I am very positive about the game if we fix some things. So like when I was playtesting, when you're not playing the tops, the game's still cool as shit, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's nothing more fun than going to an RTT and playing with like Votan, and then like just actually like having a good time playing with Votan. People are like, "That's dumb," and I'm like, "You have no idea."
Ow, that's hurtful. I goes, wow, some kid just walked by my screen and went, I didn't know so many old people played 40K. Screw you, kid. Fight that kid in the parking lot. Hey, somebody's grandpa wants to fight somebody.
I now need to get a second Hierophant. Dean calling me out about not running double Hierophant makes me want to run a double Hierophant.
Look, you're welcome, Andy, on the fact that I called you last night while I was trying to figure out Restream again.
I still think we need to do the best.
You can always borrow my Hierophant.
I need a second one. So unless you get a second one, which I don't know if you'll do.
I have two. One's not painted, but it doesn't take very long.
Salt City 2024, double Hierophant. Let's go. Make sure they're painted real good so I have a chance for best overall.
I mean, I painted them, so they're pretty decent. So.
There we go.
Here's the best thing said on this. He goes, old Rhinoceros Rex goes, he's like 12, and I promise he's taller than you. And I'm like, I mean, probably. I've seen me.
That's not a high bar, man. That's not a high bar.
Who gets front seat Wednesday? That is definitely you, Heidi. I will be crashed out in the back for a bit. I will also try to be doing work and just hoping that you guys don't kill me. Luckily, I only get
Are you going to be coaching from
anxiety.
the back
Yep. I'm setting up an office in the back, basically.
Oh my god, the level of ridiculousness.
As long as we don't get the same
That
kind
really
of...
just reminded me of Brad trying to coach while high up in the mountains without reception.
Oh my god, that was so annoying. So who drops first in pairings? Prophet of Change 999 $4.99 super chat.
Obviously, the best person that we should drop first is going to be our orc player so that he can pick his matchup. It's also Brad, so they're going to be really afraid and put knights into him every time.
And they're going to be like, what are they bringing orcs for?
I've literally had two people message me and be like, did you mean to put orcs? Like, is that just like, are you faking your pairings? I'm like, no, but maybe.
Also, god damn it. I know, I just look over to the wall and I'm like, the movie Boss Baby was loosely based on Brad.
Thank you, Corey. At least Corey's picking on somebody else. I didn't even see what his two questions were earlier.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Man.
that was fantastic.
I really wish they would put the lists out there because I'd like to talk about them and hang out with them. We'll do
They
that.
said that they're not going to do that until after Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry, because they got an FAQ for when I'm driving. So it's Heidi, Lyle, myself, and we'll start making army changes while we're halfway down to Tennessee, because
So,
that's when it's going to drop.
They're dropping the FAQ this week. Did they say they were going to do points changes?
Yes, they said that there were going to be points and weapons changes as well as clarifications. They specifically called out GSC demolition charges as one of the
I
things
mean,
that they're
literally,
adjusting.
that's the whole thing, though. Your army might get invalidated while you're traveling. What are you supposed to do about that?
I don't know. I'm just going to lock whatever the heck I want to at that
You
point. Wait,
live down there, man.
wait. Hold on. Do we have a Marine player currently?
Well, we might. On
Yes!
The
The Astreus all the tanks list will be live if they nerf GSC.
I'm
to the
about to
ground.
freaking chloroform fucking Brenton. Hey guys, what are you playing, Brad? I have no idea. But if it goes too bad, I'm gonna knock this guy out and play that list. Brenton was tired.
Where's Brett now? Sleeping under the table.
Man, he was real tired from the trip, guys.
We're gonna have Brenton have an emergency list in case he can't play Eldar anymore.
Crowley, you got that emergency chaos list?
The Chaos Knight list?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I hope this goes to shit so that we all audible into everything else crazy.
If it goes to absolute shit, I'm putting everything on the front line saying,
Does that mean
go!
I feel like get a quick call of, hey Brian, is this part of your NIDS army completely done? Yes. Can you FedEx this overnight to Atlanta for me?
No, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna just FedEx you over to Atlanta.
Yeah, put yourself in the box.
You can be our coach. We need somebody in case Brad dies anyway. No, Wilmer's coaching for us. You can be our coach, our backup coach.
That is true. They are having the fight to see between Lyle and Kyle who's the best Isle. So, yeah, here's the thing. What do you guys, so far, we've seen at least factions. And if the factions are correct, who knows if they are, because, you know what I mean? If you put in a weird faction, it doesn't auto-change when you put everything in. What is the most off the cuff? What's the outlier? What's a spicy pick right now that you didn't think you were going to see?
Art of Wars is really good.
Yeah, I was surprised to
Death
see-
Watch and Grey Knights
Grey
as well
Knights.
as Custodes, so they have a really good matchup with 3 of their lists into GSC and other Horde armies as well. And they sacrifice the Necron pick, so they're using GK as their Necron pick, which I think is actually a good and interesting choice. It's an interesting grouping.
So what's their grouping? What's their full grouping?
Quentin's playing Eldar. Siegs is playing Death Watch. Nick is playing GSC. Harpster's playing Grey Knights, and John is playing some Maroon. No, what is he playing? He's playing Custodes. Yeah, Custodes is just so strong not to take right now, especially in a team match. I think.
And I think Death Watch is sneaky good in teams.
Well, because you can give them the matchups that they want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a very good. It doesn't do well singles wise, but that's where we were talking to Marines. It's just like the only problem is if you goof the pairings up, you can get that list into things it just does not want to be in.
Yeah.
Oh, the other part is it makes them have to lean in first with either GSC or Custodes, and they likely lean in with Custodes first. So that puts them in a really awkward situation, having to lean in with it puts them in a really awkward defending situation with their first defender, because you can't really lean in with Death Watch first. You can't lean in with you could do GSC. You can't really lean in with Grey Knights first, right?
Yeah. Now maybe they're just saying to shape, screw it. We'll do stuff with the Knights. I don't know. They had some spicy stuff though. There are a couple other teams actually brought some different things. We had more Thousand Suns than I thought we were going to do. And 14 other guys are bringing orcs, by the way. I do agree with Anna, and I've talked about this quite a bit. I do think that the orcs play the game very well.
Yep.
Yes.
They're not the killiest army, but they do play the game. They can score points.
Well, it's like I've been getting some jokes from you guys about some of the Tyranid lists I've been sending you guys. But man, does that play the game really, really well.
Yeah. I think that the Tyranids actually, if you could, I think the correct answer is the Spore Mines doing engage for you and then you finding another secondary. I don't think that the deploy teleport homers is kind of reliable. It's kind of an issue how unreliable it can be once people know what your game plan is.
Mhm.
But yeah, being able just to
it's weird that
score
I'm saying
engage is
this,
so dope.
but screw fixed. Tactical all the way, baby.
I don't think fixed is good. I think they underdid fixed too hard.
I just think that I don't like the fact that you can. I hated that. It's one of the things that I didn't like about earlier editions is you could tailor your list exactly for secondaries because you picked your secondaries, and now with the tactical deck, you have to be able to do things.
You have to be flexible.
Right.
I'm sorry. How many trash do you have in your Eldar list to be able to score? 3 total?
Oh,
Because your plan is to table your opponent by turn 2?
You don't need to have trash units when all your units are 80 points, yo.
So yeah, tell me more as your strategical mindset with that list. Yes, yeah.
Crowley's just salty because Warp Spider's burnt down on
I'm playing
Overwatch.
I'm playing GSC, man. Like I have trash for days. I don't tactical is like my default because I literally just score things on accident. The game's like here's deploy teleport omers and cleanse. I'm like, oh wow, I've got 70,000 activations for that. Let's go.
I do love the fact that you can use spore mines to do all your actions right now in ATC.
Oh my god.
And it just cracks me up because you're just like, in my mind, you have to put some spore mines with like glasses on them. You're like, he's the best in his class. He knows how things go. Are you being invaded? What's happening?
Carrying a laptop because he's data scrying.
Oh hell yeah! Exactly. Kyle goes, my 92-point demon printer challenges your claims. He does score a lot he's got all of the little demons everywhere.
Yes, that list was super annoying to play against when I was practicing with him with Eldar. Oh, yeah, no, I love this background. I'm sorry. I don't have a Gene Stealer background that I like. Brad keeps telling me to not use a background, but my office is a thrash-hot mess as I've got GSC freaking sprues everywhere as far as the eye can see. Somebody thought it was a great idea to make Crawley assemble 120 freaking neophytes in 2 weeks.
Uh-oh. It looks like we had T-Suns versus Wolves playing. Ooh, Prophet. So what matchups do y'all hope for? That's a really tough question because of the fact that depending on the mission and the terrain, matchups become wildly different. So that's a very tough question to answer because it literally changes on the format, the deployment, and what the actual mission is.
I don't even pay attention. I just go where Brad tells me to and defeat whatever Brad puts in front of me.
Mm-hmm. All Brad's got to do is tell me, hey, do you need a 20-0 or I need this a 10-10? Okay. That's where I'm going.
Driving back
you
to
have gears,
11-9, got it.
You have gears other than 20-0?
Yeah, I have to sit back and not do anything and just score. And then once I come to the mid-board, ha-ha, I tricked you.
I got asked a question by, this is a outside of this thing, as I got asked by a player. He was like, hey, do you think score differential in our local stuff we should use more as compared to using, the current system of not using it, of just using, and everyone's shaking their head no to me. And why is that? Just out of curiosity, as it's popular in other countries.
I love differential,
because a good player is allowed in current situations to let off the gas and let the opponent have a good time if they know what they're doing. In a differential situation, you are incentivizing me to go all gas. And it feels really bad for a new player to get tabled on 2 rather than me leading the game out and target feeding them, giving them coaching suggestions and stuff like that, rather than I deny all of your primary on turns 2, 3, and 4. And then on turn 5, there's nothing left.
Yeah, but it does make you play the game out though more because it counts more. So I do want to back up.
You are crazy.
No, because you have to play
what game out.
You have to score all your points because also
Brad,
if it's differential.
City, how many opponents did you have make it past turn 3?
What all except for you guys that are knights because you guys worship the devil.
That's not how I remember that story being told. In fact, I remember on multiple rounds, you're like, yeah, we just talked it out because he had nothing left.
I mean, that was later, though. So I do want to go here at the wall. He goes, for those of us that have never played teams, can we get a rundown of how it works? And this is how it works, and this is why there's a lot of basically strategy that goes into this. So this is a 5-man team. WTC is an 8-man team. So there's a lot more kind of trying to catch people because you basically have, you get down to the 7th and 8th armies where they go. But what happens is both of you put down a defender And then after you flip the defender up, you reveal what you put down. So we go, hey, I'm going to put down Crawley, GSC. And they put down Breton with Eldar. Now then both of us go back and we decide which two of our remaining 4 armies attack. And then we flip those at the same time over also. And then you decide which one you're going to take, and then you refuse one. And then the other player does the same thing. You obviously set them down so that people can't see them. And then you flip it up. Defenders choose what table they're playing on. So I don't know how it's going to be in ATC as much, but like the tables can be, especially in WTC, they go from very light to medium to heavy. So depending on what type of army you're playing, it also means a big deal for that, because the match is going to be hugely different. If I'm playing an all shooting army and I just choose Planet Bowling Ball, you're in for a world of hurt. Same way.
There are certain tables that, you know, armies like Custodes or Orcs or Gene Stealer Cult definitely want to land on.
Yeah.
There's certain tables that, you know, are, well, ATC's actual terrain that we want to put Eldar on just so I have a shooting gallery. But
yeah, and then basically in a 5-man team, it's very big on this because you defend again, and we both put out a defender, and that means we both have 2 armies left. So same thing happens. We both put them in, but this is where you have to predict a little bit, because both people choose to fight one of the armies out of the 2 that they're giving, and the people that are refused play each other. So you're either trying to force your opponent to choose one and give the other. So you have to kind of like do a little bit of guesswork, but hopefully it's educated guesses, you know what I mean, of what they're going to take and what they're not going to.
One of the biggest things is you need to look through what the meta boogeymen are, right? So we know the top 3 factions that are most prevalent across all of the armies are Eldar, Imperial Knights. It's not GSC. GSC is 4th, but there's another one. Make sure that you have 2 people in your thing that are comfortable into those, so that you have your attackers for those ready, right? Make sure that you have somebody on your team that feels like they can handle like your all-comers guy, your guy that's like, I feel like I can play into basically everything. I can treat this like a singles tournament. Just give me a table. Not Brenton. Brenton, I will touch you with GSC in places that you didn't know could be touched.
Hey, I know how to beat him now. You can't surprise me again.
But no, you need to have your roles on your team, right? You also need to make sure that you have the conversation with your team before, because it's the most important part of this entire thing. That do not say the words, I will take anything, unless you mean I will take anything. If you say I will take anything and then you lose, it's not your freaking coach / pairings person's fault.
It's yours.
It's yours. You need to say, hey, I have a 60-40 into Custodes, and I've got a 45 that, and then own those choices.
So something I've also really noticed about the team format that I think some people get lost in is people look at favorable matchups versus unfavorable matchups, and they look at the armies rather than assessing necessarily just player skill in general. So, like, I think Brad playing Orcs, which he's got, 3 games experience with, is still going to go into some matches and just whop people into the ground. Whoa. It's just Brad. But, like, you know, I've been guilty of this. In the GW Open in Kansas, I went into a match, I was like, I don't think I can win this one, and I lost it. But it's because I didn't think I could win it. Later on, I look back, I was like, I could have won it by doing this, this, and this.
Problem solving, baby. I love that. I love solving shit.
So as long as we go in with the same mentality we have in 1v1, that, okay, here's my game plan. Don't deviate from your game plan because you feel pressure. Follow your game plan through and then adjust small things as needed. That's the biggest thing with a team tournament.
The thing is I really like is if there's problem children in the meta, there's only one of any one thing in a team tournament, because you can only bring one of any faction on your team. And it makes it really nice because you don't play entire tournaments where that's all you play, you know, is the one boogeyman of the meta right now. So it's nice for that. Also, I actually really like team because you can skew your lists because you don't have to play singles. So like, if you have the best list ever at killing all of the infantry and it's terrible at killing Titanic stuff, well, just don't play the Titanic stuff. And then you crush, you really can focus armies that have built-in weaknesses to certain things, and you just ignore those weaknesses and just go full on into the strength of those armies. I think you get like wildly stronger armies because they don't have to worry about the outliers for them anymore.
Man, Votan intimidates the heck out of me, though. I think they're going to be a very dominant factor at this tournament.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, I bet. I bet they're going to tear it up.
You're going to get
Crowley's
so
gonna be like,
smoked.
Don't put me into Votan players. Brad's like, eat it. Crowley's like, you fill it to my.
I don't want to play into any Votan players.
I want to
They're
see
too
how
strong.
many acolytes they can kill. That would be fantastic. The
All
death
of the
toll is
acolytes.
catastrophic.
No. Like, I think the Terminator unit can kill 2 units of acolytes by itself.
I just think that would be hilarious.
How many T-Suns did you guys say were at this event?
Whereas in one of the chats it lists all of them.
I think it was like 14, wasn't it? Something along those lines?
It is.
It's in. I was say it's in one of our chats here. Give me one moment.
T-Suns. Oh, they're all the way up here. 20.
20. Okay. I actually think they're a much stronger army than a lot of people are giving them credit for, especially in the teams format.
Yes, because you literally can pick on the thing. They're really good at the things that they're good at.
The hard part is right now is that a lot of armies don't have the ability to deal with Eldar and to deal with there's a lot of custodes players. Eldar and GSC. So you have to be really careful. You have to find your pairings based upon making sure that you have ideas for how to deal with those, because the rest of it's just basically playing in things that you normally would play against in just a player skill matchup, right? But the problem is like T-Suns does really poorly into Eldar, right? Eldar really does not want to eat damage 6 shots to the face because they really want to run Magnus and Megalith Beasts. And Megalith Beasts do not really like having 3 fire prisms go Bert. So
You know what Eldar doesn't like? Getting stupid mortal wounds from Webbers and shit for 5 straight turns.
yeah, Eldar
Like-
has a real bad time with GSC.
Seriously, stop it. You're like, I'm not even doing that much damage, but you do it every turn and you're never done. You're like,
Chip
please go
damage.
away. That army's like really nasty, to be honest with you. There's a couple things out there. So I'm excited for the tournament. I wish they would, not change the rules daily. I think he just wakes up and spins a wheel and goes, all right, new rule coming in.
There are so many weird rulings too, like you can't shadows in the warp and battle shock, even though you can, because battle shock happens in the command phase. So the Tyranid player's shadows in the warp effectively ends the command phase for the active player, which is hilarious. Brian's chuckling as a TO laughs in TO.
I was actually reading the FAQ and I was like, do they play 40K?
Let's not be mean. Come on now.
Wow. Is there anything that does well into GSC consistently? Yeah, actually.
Knights.
Custodes.
Knights, Custodes.
Custodes do remarkably well into them.
Yeah, well, they have a
They
hard time
struggle a little bit
damaging.
with the T8
Yeah.
or
they-
T12.
Yeah, they just, the thing is that the Custodes player can just literally make the Sparta wall basically and just push into them, and they have a hard time dealing with it.
Now you have to stat check them and you have to roll 4s. That is a thing. So
True
just
story.
remember that if you don't roll average, you will have a bad time. But if you roll average, you'll have a good time.
If you roll average,
Corey, you're so mean to me.
beautiful Chattanooga. Yes, it was. I didn't even bother. I was letting you. I was going to wait until you read that one. It was fantastic. Yeah, KR. Beautiful Chattanooga. Just repeat the mantra. Move to Atlanta. God.
Actually, I think CSM have a good game into. So Eldar doesn't like trading into things that can trade reliably back with them safely. So CSM is actually a good match for Eldar into Eldar.
I'm going to go with this. I just want to go to the wall real quick because the Metamonday JCMS for Metamoney goes, no, they don't. The Custodes have a 25% win rate into the GSC. But I think that one of the big things about it is Custodes have a good match, I think, if you've played it. I think GSC is very difficult to play if you haven't put reps into them because they are the trixiest army in the game. So I think that they have good play into them, but they only have play into them if you've practiced into them. Once you've practiced into them, I think they have. And I will give you that, the data itself.
That's true.
No, but KR, he's right. But the thing that we want to cover is if you look at round 5 of LSO, right? The only reason the Custodes player lost was because they were choosing between the -1 damage and the Overwatch. He thought that he understood the defensive profile enough to the point where he'd be able to kill enough of the demo charges. He literally lost an entire 7-man brick of Allura's Terminators with Captain. Had he -1 damaged, he would have lost 3. And that's huge. That's literally a 200-point swing, right? That's just understanding the matchup and understanding the tricks. And that was his first game into GSC. And GSC is literally freaking gotcha the faction.
Yep.
GSC, it's a matchup that has, GSC has the most tricks. And the thing is that you have to put the reps into GSC. And there's a big difference between someone good playing GSC and someone new or inexperienced playing GSC because they have just so many working parts. It's kind of like old Thousand Suns, you know, somebody that was a master with Thousand Suns, that army was terrifying. And the army wasn't so great played by inexperienced players. But then it's the same thing kind of going into GSC, though, is that once you start playing against them, super tough army. Horrible army for some factions to take on, but other factions, once you know what they can do, then you can start formulating plans. I don't think anything walks over GSC, to be honest with you. I just think that other armies have plays into them.
GSC struggles with armor. It becomes very much a save game at that point.
My first game in the GSC with Crawley was definitely an eye-opener for me, but after I played a few more reps into them, I kind of figured out the matchup, and it was way easier, and I gave myself such a hard time trying to figure it out at first. Because they have so
don't
many
give the
tricks.
GSC your backfield.
No.
Just don't do it.
But you do need pressure, though. You have to start grabbing them. As soon as GSC takes the board, and I'll give it to the Omega Monday here, because Custodes need to go first to win per stat check numbers. It's a really rough game. I think that they have a really good play going first into them. And I do think that going first is a big deal in that game, because once either player loses ground, then it becomes a big deal.
Yeah, I agree, JCMS. When you're not repped into it and you go second when you're playing Custodes, it's a really rough time playing into.
But isn't it that way when you don't understand what any army does when you're not
No.
ready to do it?
No.
No,
Eldar is literally a freaking brick wall that smashes you in the face and you just get tabled.
Oh my
GSC,
god! Look at that guy.
kill
He's
you
just
with
hating on
paper.
Eldar so much. He's like, no matter
do.
what. Sadness. Uh-oh, Anna with a $5 super chat. You mentioned GSC is gotcha hammer the faction. How do you balance making sure you aren't gotching your opponent while also preserving your tricks? That is a fantastic question. And it really varies between player and player. My personal opinion is what I try to do is go over my entire army before the game goes out. And I also like to have the cards out now with everything so your opponent can take a look at them. So you can talk about what they can do, but also leave your cards in like the middle zone so your opponent can take a look at them, because you don't want them to feel like you gotcha them. But also GSC has a lot of tricks. So like, unless you're playing for both of you, you know, it is difficult. So
And the one thing I like to say is I like to go over my strats that I use with a player so they understand what my strats are, so they don't feel like a stratagem gotcha.
I'm going to spend an average of 5 to 10 minutes before the game going through what my list and stuff does. But I always tell my opponents, if you've never played into GSC before, like, you're not going to be able to learn what the faction does in one game. Like, there are so many interactions. I'm operating so much on your turn, and I have so many ways of just telling you no, that it's not something you're going to be able to pick up in your first game with it. You need to get reps into it. So get TTS, find a buddy that wants to play or learn GSC, play with GSC a few games to be able to figure out how they operate. Watch some games and some strats or things on YouTube. But there's no way you can literally teach a player how to play against GSC in one game.
they're the one thing in Index that still has a bunch of tricks. Everybody else is the Diet Coke version. It's leaned out, without so many things they can do. GSD still has so many shenanigans. So it's big on that. And the thing is that, like I said, I agree 100% that the pure numbers about that don't favor the custodes, but I do think that the custodes have good play into them, but only if you know how to play into them. And the stats aren't going to show that because you only have X amount of very experienced players that have played a lot of games into them. So
local Raven has it correct. Step 1, kill the Jackal. Step 2, kill the Primus. I completely agree with that.
Ooh, this is a good one. JCMS, Monday Monday, 499 Super Chat. Why is CSM so good into Custos? I'm really surprised by that. Man, CSM in their certain builds just can put out so much damage. We were talking about it earlier. They don't have great cardio because they come with a limited amount of elite units, but the damage they can put out is decent AP. They're basically putting the Custodes down to their 4-ups. But the bigger thing is they have so much multi-damage that they're just picking up model after model. So if you even have just a little bit of a bad turn with Custodes, you can just, boom, pick up units, you know what I mean? And CSM has multiple ways to also shoot indirect. They've got good range on their weapons. They can jump down with 2 obliterators, be behind things, you can't get to them, shoot a bunch every time they're picking up a single guy. So I actually think that's the thing about any army that's an elite army like a Custodes army is you put a volume of multi-damage shots into them, they fail half of them, you know what I mean, stat-wise, and you can really lose the critical mass of Custodes that you need to win that game. CSM is terrifying, to be honest with you. I don't think CSM's the army that's going to win the GT, but it could be the army that makes you not win the GT because
I honestly think that CSM is going to in one of the armies that's in a really good spot. That once Eldar and GSC get toned down a bit, that we're going to see them rise up. Anna brings up a really good question about having to wrestle with the fact of like spending time coaching your opponent on how to deal with Votan beams. I fully think that your obligation as a player is to make sure that your opponent is aware of what your army can do and explaining those things and answering questions that they ask you, but you're not playing the game on both sides, right? So, because again, I'll give you one freebie each time where I'll be like, hey, if you end within 12 of that character, you're going to take D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. Are you sure you want to do that? And I'll let them know, like, hey, I'm usually going to give you a reminder once on each ability, but like I can't constantly be telling you every single time that you're about to do something that you're about to do it, because my army already makes me move 120 models and roll a crap ton of dice. I'm going to clock the crap out of myself, right? So it's a balance because they have to learn, and a lot of people learn by touching the stove once, right? Once you fall into the saboteur problem once, you won't forget, and you're gonna be like, "Where's that bitch?"
Not me. I gotta touch the stove like 4 or 5 times first. Exactly.
So
What'd you
actually,
miss?
since we're talking about Chaos Space Marines, I definitely want to give a small shout out to Joshua Minnick. He's going to Arch City GT, and I believe personally, after looking at all the different armies showing, he's one of the favorite to win with Chaos Space Marines.
He's been working on this for a while. A lot of permutations on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same weekend as ATC. He chose to not partake of ATC this season, and he's going down to support our friends down at Arch City Garrison with their GT. So hopefully we get to see a really cool CSM win this weekend.
I hope he pulls it out.
So
Everyone,
the secret sauce is his Mark of Nurgle Forge Fiend in the back.
I love that.
That was actually really funny.
Now, how does Brad learn? Brad sleeps on the stove.
I don't know why there's no Mark of Nurgle on the Forge Fiend. The Forge Fiend wants to be Mark of Undivided so that you can get the full rerolls and maximize your...
Oh, the Nurgle, you got to get the mortals.
He's got Undivided and he's got a Nurgle.
Yeah, he's got one of each.
Oh, okay. Nurgle doesn't get mortals, though. I thought Nurgle gave access to the strat for not shootable outside of 12.
Yeah, that's it.
So everybody promote something, and then we're going to Queens wave it out of here.
So I actually want to promote something that's not mine, that's a friend of mine. If you look up the Gateway Open, which happens in the middle of August, give them a check. They're in St. Louis. It should be a really good time. It's run by a very good gentleman. So give them a shout.
Raleigh, what do you got?
War Games Live. Watch it this weekend. Enjoy ATC vicariously. Help alleviate the salt. Joe's an awesome dude. He deserves all the shout outs. Go go watch the stream and have a good time.
Also,
Watch Brad get his ass kicked on
little
stream.
little known fact: I'm taller than Joe.
The best part of that was Britt.
Britt in the background just laughing. Exactly. Fuckers.
Thank you, Britt. Thank you.
God damn it.
Brad,
That's
I have models that are taller than you. So
Brad, that's her revenge for the 2 a.m. Taco Bell incident.
I was trying to be a good friend on that.
I know. But make sure. Also, real quick, Lyle, I will not be at the cabin on Thursday because I live too close to the event. So you'll only have Brad and Brenton to beat the snot out of on Thursday.
All of the good things, some of the stuff. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. And until, we got to figure out who's gonna run the. There's no Thursday. Oh no.
I mean, I'll be available for Thursday. You can run Thursday from the cabin if you can coach that day.
Yeah, I need equipment though.
Just figure it out. Use a laptop. Brandon will be there. Have Brandon bring his laptop.
Well, let's do stuff and things. Everyone, thanks for hanging out.
Stay milky, my friends.